We're on now.
Should be live, right? Okay. All right, hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
Barak the Yahweh. Barak the Yahweh Shai. Barak the Yahweh. Barak the Yahweh Shai. Barak the Yahweh. Barak the Yahweh Shai. All praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. And honors and salutations to all you Akim out there that's laboring in its truth and sincerity. You know, as you see the title, this is going to be an open forum show slash where the Israelites. Because we got to keep pushing that vibe of Israel. You got to keep that vibe of Israel out there. Because that's affecting Esau. It's affecting the elites on a major scale. And it's affecting a lot of these demons out there. You got people that are paid to keep these things hidden. You understand?
That's right.
So you got to, you know, and before we go on too, Spirit behind the Apostle Torah, you've been saying it, and I'm going to keep echoing it. And maybe other brothers should bring it out too. You know, brothers, when y'all do your lessons, make sure you're wearing your garments, man. Make sure you're wearing your garments, you know. Because brothers sometimes, you know, put the, you know, do the shows, which is cool. But, you know, you might be in a park or whatever. Like Pastor said, put your garments on. We in the time to be proud. Don't be ashamed of being an Israelite, man. You know, we're in the time to be happy and proud of us being an Israelite. I mean, we catching hell, but if not anything, at least we got this truth, man. Above everything. Yahweh Shai said, know the truth, and what? She'll make you free. So we free in the spirit, man. So don't be afraid to wear your garments. I mean, now, if you sometime I might do a show while I'm driving. Obviously, I'm not going to be driving around with a garment or whatever. I'm going to work or whatever. But, you know, in other words, brothers, because it becomes a trend, the next thing you know, you're getting further away from your Israelite heritage, man. All right? The scriptures say, put on our beautiful garments. Oh, as a matter of fact, if brother want to get it, you get it. You know, but we here to continually proclaim that we are the true Israelites that are spoken of in the Bible, the Holy Bible. You got a lot of other people, a lot of Jakes, so-called celebrities, are starting to make mention of it. You got the elites amongst Esau. Esau knew who the real Israelites were.
Of course.
You know?
They got all the records.
Yeah.
They know exactly who we are. They got the records.
Yep.
That's right. But, yep.
Isaiah chapter 52, verse 1. It says, awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem. You know, going into what, you know, Elder Menatazak was saying, you know. Now that we're awake, it's time to, you know, be proud, you know. This truth is going out, you know, throughout the whole world, man. And now it's time to, you know, we don't have to be Clark Kent, man. It's time to be Superman.
Yeah, like, hey, if somebody finds out that, I mean, of course, the scriptures say, let not your left hand know what your right hand's doing, right? And the scriptures say, be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, right? So you don't go to your job setting up camp and everything, right? But say if somebody on your job, see, wait a minute, you one of them Israelites. You goddamn right I'm one of them Israelites, man. We are the Israelites. What's the problem? You know? You have these so-called Jews, these nasty rat bastards. They'll sit there and rep it harder than a Jake, and they're not even the people, man.
That's right. Nope.
You know?
They're a bunch of imposters.
Imposters, man.
A bunch of Khazars. And even among Esau, they know that the so-called Jew is an imposter. They know that the so-called Jew is a Khazar. They know that. That's a well-known out there in the Edomite community. You know, among the elites of Esau. You got people in Hollywood and different places that they know that the so-called Jews are fakes, and they know that they're a bunch of frauds. They know that. That's like common knowledge.
Yeah, man.
That's why it's like it. It was a woman named Helen Thomas. She covered 10 sitting presidents, and she was in a part of the news media. And she off camera, somebody was talking to her off camera, but they were recording it, and she said something about the so-called Jews that everything would be good if they took their ass back to Poland, basically. Then there was an uproar, and she lost her job. Now, this was a white woman, an Edomite woman, who she covered 10 sitting presidents. You know, some of those presidents served for 2 terms. Right. So some of them served for 8 years. Some served, 4 years, and they was out, then the next guy came in.
Yep.
But 10 presidents, that's at least 40 years. And it was more than 40 years. 10 sitting presidents were in there for more than 40 years. And she got booted out of the media because she said that everything would be better if the Jews went back to Poland, which they're not Jews anyway.
Exactly.
So she was speaking in code when she said that.
Yeah.
And you can Google it. You can find it on YouTube. Helen Thomas.
So that proves that they know. Behind the scenes, they know. See, Jake is asleep, man.
Yep.
You know, but now this truth is going out. You got Jake putting you got Esau putting a lot of misinformation out there.
Disinformation.
And disinformation. So that's why the spirit of the Lord come on the prophets, the men of the Lord, all right, who we are, right, who you other brothers are that's doing the same thing in truth and sincerity, right? The Lord put the spirit on us and revealed things like what the brother was bringing about Helen Thomas and certain other ones that expose the elites. You know, they call them, a lot of behind the scene, they call them Turco-Edomites. You had Alex Jones, he was bringing that out.
Oh, yeah.
You know? But you can't really find that much information about an Edomite when you look
Eustace Mullins called them Turco-Edomites.
Eustace Mullins, yep.
He's dead now. Eustace Mullins called you Turco-Edomites. There's a guy, Edomite by the name of Jack Otto, who did, there's a video, just put in the name Jack Otto. And over YouTube, he went into the history of the Khazars. He calling them Turco-Edomites. Look, they're not the people of the Lord. They're not from the stock. They're not from the ethnic stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But they are actually from the stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. Okay? So they are Hebrews. They're Hebrew Shemitic Edomites. We're Hebrew Shemitic Israelites. You got Hebrew Shemitic Ishmaelites, Hebrew Shemitic Midianites, and I forget the name of the other 6 sons that Abraham had with Keturah. But those other 6 sons are mingled in amongst Midian and Ishmael. Ishmael and Midian are the dominant 2 of those sons that Abraham had by Keturah.
Yeah, matter of fact, I got a quick precept for you, right? It says, this is Obadiah chapter 1 verse 10. All right, it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So, like the brothers going into the elder Talladapa, these devil Esau, they were our brothers, man. They were our evil, wicked brothers. They Shemitic Hebrew Edomites, man.
That's right, Shemitic Hebrew Edomites.
You see? But the Lord said, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, right? Which that goes into the past, but then you can update it to right now what they're doing, man.
That's right.
Okay? Man, Esau it's a genocide that's been created upon the nation of Israel. And they do all that just to hide the fact of who we are in the first, because they know, look, that's how you suppress and rule over Israel, by keeping you away from this truth, man. Exactly. That's why they'll let that Kemetic nonsense fly. And that Kemetic shit is just nonsense, man. You so-called niggas have no connection with Kemetic. You don't even know what that word Kemetic comes from, man.
Right. You just be saying.
You just say, I'm Kemetic, the Kemetic science. You know?
Kemetic mental fucking retardation.
Yeah.
That Kemetic science is all about putting a shaft up a man's ass. It's about worshiping the all-seeing eye. You know that little thing Polite puts on his face? The all-seeing butthole is really what it is.
Yeah, butthole of Horus.
The Kemetics, the Kemites believe
Horus's butt crack.
Yeah, like he said, Horus's butt crack. The Kemites believed in sexual magic, and to perform sexual magic, you have to run up the anus of a child, preferably a little boy. Now, the documentary Mondo Magic shows that to the fullest extent, where they were having a ritual, and they were the men were dressed up in drag as women. They had weaves in their hair with different colors, lipstick on, looking like women. It was a bunch of men. They threw their sons out there in the middle. The father would run out and pop the son in the ass. They were performing sexual magic because there in West Africa, there's a deity they worship named Alegba. And that when Jake was there in the interiors of Africa, Jake took that shit on, because when Jake was brought over here on the slave ships, when they were brought to Haiti, they were brought to Cuba, they were brought to Jamaica, brought here to the mainland America, they still worship that god Alegba, and in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic, they call it Alegua. And it's the same, and it's the statue of a black man with a beard sitting there with his balls hanging and his rod extended like about this damn long, and he's sitting there. It's like a throne, but it's him sitting there with his rod erected and his balls hanging, and it's a deity named Alegba, and it goes back to sexual magic,
which is all witchcraft.
Exactly.
All right, and you know what the scriptures say about witchcraft, and not to cut you off, elder.
No.
Because and now to mention like the elder went into what they're going into the crux of that Kemetic nonsense, which it goes into the homosexuality, that sexual magic. Guess what else does the same thing? The Freemasonry.
Exactly.
And if you look, you can tie that ancient Kemetic science to Freemasonry. That's why you'll see. We'll use Bro No Light for example, when he puts on his garb and the rest of them other practicing Kemetic Masons, they dress up and wear the same outfit. With the cap with the tassel and everything. That's the same Masonic apparel and with the double squares and everything.
That's right.
They do the same things and they participate. Pardon me. In the same thing, to get inducted into Freemasonry, really, what? You got to go through that initiation of homosexuality. They showed you a little bit of it in that movie, The Skull and Bones, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right? The skull.
They had to lay in the coffin
and
then
ritual.
wake up and become thrice born or something like that. Mm-hmm. But you lay in that coffin to become a skull butt naked. And you wake up in the morning and you're thrice born. You're reborn. See, they went into it a little bit, but they did the editing on it.
Yeah.
But if you watch the movie The Good Shepherd, it showed you exactly what the skull and bone ritual was about, because he was down there wrestling in the mud with one of the other guys, and the people that were on the balcony watching him were pissing on him. So that is what made the dirt turn into mud. They were being urinated on while they were sitting down there wrestling.
Disgusting.
And then he got offended by it. The character played by Matt Damon. Then the Edomite ran behind him, because this movie, The Good Shepherd, was about how the CIA and the KGB came to be formed back in the 40s.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
yep.
That's just a little tidbit on that.
No, that's right. Hey, well, that's deep. And you know what? And that further proves that we're the Israelites, because Israel, Jake want to be everybody but themselves, man.
That's right.
But this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 14. It said, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? And that's speaking about Jake, the so-called black man, the so-called Latino man, the so-called Native American Indian man. The Lord's asking the question, man. Because why? You see, today, 2017, still, the majority of Jake got that slave mentality, man.
That's right.
That slave mentality. They still want to worship their slave masters, man. You got Jake still trying to follow after Esau, the so-called white man, who's the modern-day Egyptian, okay? You got Jake following after him, where you got Jake going straight into that Kemetic science or that Egyptology, right? Which is another. They didn't even call it the original Egyptians. Didn't call themselves Egyptians, man.
No, they were Mizraim. Get it right, Montazarian. That's their name, Mizraim, and the name Kemet goes back to the Hebrew word chum, which means hot. So get it right.
Exactly.
That's the origin of the word Kemet, and they weren't Egyptians, because when the Greeks conquered them, the Greeks called them Egyptus.
Yep.
Okay. And the word Egypt, because a lot of you simple asses call yourself Israelites, the word Egypt means bondage, but Mizraim doesn't mean bondage. I know y'all know what Mizraim means.
Yeah,
I mean, I want to say it, but then again, you know what? I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah.
Chew on that, all right?
Yeah.
All right. Mizraim don't mean bondage. Now, Egypt means bondage, but not Mizraim. Montazarian don't mean bondage.
That's right.
Now, I'm not gonna say what it means. You look it up, because you got a lot of those guys who call themselves Israelites. They hate our guts, but they chewing on everything that.
GMS that's all right. You know what though? But even on that, like the Apostle Paul said, whether in pretense or sincerity, Yahweh Shai is preach. Like right now, you got a lot of Israelites that are going off as far as the doctrine, right? And at the end of the day, Matthew's the 7th chapter, man. Yahweh Shai is going to ultimately do all the separating. Right. The Lord we're the mouthpiece. The Lord got us saying it. Everybody, you crazy, y'all about separating Israel. Yep. No, Yahweh Shai said in Luke the 12th chapter, man. Right. Think that I came to bring peace? Right. Tell you nay, rather division.
That's right.
Right? So Yahweh Shai is coming, he said he's going to separate the sheep from the goats. Right? Matthew, what's that, the 25th chapter.
And where the sheep and Esau are the goat.
Yep. And you got Jake, that's the goat too, because the Lord said,
that's right.
In Jeremiah the 5th chapter, the Lord said his people have become more wicked than the wicked, man. Yeah. They surpass the deeds of the wicked. So even though you got other Israelite groups out there, they might be going off on doctrine, but they all pushing Israel.
Right.
Okay, you have Sakari, which he been, been in the news, the Israelite news, YouTube news or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, because he got arrested at his camp or whatever the case is. Yeah. So whether he's set up or not, well, that don't matter. It don't matter. Okay, but at the end of the day, the Lord know whose his is. Because you're going to have dudes that ain't right. And that's what we try to tell these guys. All these guys talk all this shit about us, right? But we try to tell you that, look, you guys ain't going to be exempt when Esau start running. Yeah, we at the top of the list because we bringing out the facts. And we're truly coming in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. A lot of guys ain't coming in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, man. You got a lot of guys that just mischievous, man.
Yeah.
You got guys that be on it. They don't go out there on the highways and the byways. They be on the internet just being mischievous, okay? But either which way, the knowledge is getting put out there. The doctrine of Israel is getting pushed out there, man.
That's right.
You see? So go ahead.
Yeah, more.
Oh, no, that was it.
Okay, so Jeremiah, I got it, Salaki. Jeremiah chapter 2, I'm going to jump down to 18. It says, and now what hast thou to do in the way of Egypt, to drink the waters of Seir, or what hast thou to do in the way of Assyria, to drink the waters of the river? Thine own wickedness shall correct thee. So technically, the Most High is going to have a lot of these wicked Israelites going to be judged by their own wickedness, man. The Lord said your own wickedness is going to correct you. Because why? The Lord sent out his prophets. We've been out there on the highways and the byways fishing, right? Fishing brothers in.
That's right.
All right? Warning a lot of you guys of the things that come. We've been warning you that Esau plans on basically rolling, according to 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, Esau plans on steamrolling through you, right? Yep. And he plans on chipping you ultimately, which is the mark of the beast, that if you take it, you're going to die. You ain't gonna make it. All right, the Lord said if you take that chip, the mark of the beast, you're not going to make it, man. A lot of guys, which that's how we know a lot of guys are paid off. But it don't matter anyway because you ain't stopping the word from going out. The Most High could use you. The Lord used you as a pawn, man. You see? Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. It's Lucky. I'm sorry, man. That's right. It says, thy own wickedness shall correct thee, and thy backslidings shall reprove thee. Know therefore and see that it is an evil thing and bitter that thou hast forsaken the Lord thy power. Because each time you call yourself Kemetic, you call yourself African, black African, and no matter how many times you tell some of these niggas, they just still don't get it, man. They just hell bent on doing the bidding of Esau. What Esau told you, if the white man didn't say it, then it's not validated.
Right. And everything you niggas get, guess what? You get it from the white man.
You get it from the white man.
You get it from the white man. You know what I'm saying? Because and the information we get too, it goes back to the so-called white man too. Because Jake wasn't out there digging up. Jake wasn't digging shit up. Jake didn't have no money. Jake was not funded to go out there and be archaeologists and dig nothing up. So everything we get in second and third hand the information from people that went out there in the 1700s, the 17 and 1800s, and went and dug all this shit up. And it was them Edomite archaeologists, and a lot of them were so-called Jews, by the way, that went out there and was funded and dug a lot of this shit up.
Yeah, right? It was all set up in the spirit anyway,
It was set up
so that we could come back to the fold of knowing who we were, being, woken up again. It's more Mormonite.
Yeah, but bring your piece up.
All right, this is Isaiah, just to back you up about these. Further proves that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans they are the Israelites. This is Isaiah 30, verse 1. It says, "Woe to the rebellious children." Because whenever you read about that's the spirit.
You got it.
Whenever you read in the scriptures about the Israelites, what's the number one thing that they were known for being rebellious, for being stubborn, for being stiff-necked, for being hard-headed, and constantly going against what the Lord told them to do.
That's right.
And then the Lord would have to put them into different captivities, bring different enemies upon them, and put hell on them, man, before they repent. And then the Lord, they will repent. The Lord will forgive them, deliver them, and then they do the same shit all over again. Yeah.
And go right back to it again.
Right. So it says, "Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, that take counsel, but not of me, See, like the Elder Menatazak and Elder Tazadak was saying, yeah, if the white man don't say it, our people don't take that counsel, man.
No.
They don't take the counsel that's coming from the word of the Lord. All right. It said, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit. Like you want to be all these other identities. You want to be African American. You want to be Kemetic. You want to be Muslim.
Yeah, you want to call yourselves Egyptians.
Egyptians. Yep.
Yep. That's right.
But you don't want to be covered by the Spirit of the Lord, being the true Israelites of the Bible, that the Lord set you up to be, the true rulers and kings of the world. All right. It says that they may add sin to sin, and that's all 2/3 of our people are doing, adding sin unto sin.
That's right.
It says that walk to go down into Egypt. All right. And what's modern day Egypt is right here, America, Babylon the Great.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, you love the ways of America. You love the ways of Esau and the so-called white man, and have not asked at my mouth. Now, who's the mouth of the Lord? The prophets, starting with the apostles of a great millstone on down. That's who the Lord set up to be his mouthpiece, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Because that's what the wicked of our people, they trust in the so-called white man, and they trust in the strength of Esau and the strength of America.
Because Esau is the modern day Pharaoh, and at one point, Edomites was in Egypt sitting as pharaohs during the time of the Ptolemaic dynasty. Mm-hmm. And you can read about that in the book of Maccabees in the Apocrypha, right, about a family of priests, the Maccabees, Judas Maccabees, the Hasmonean dynasty. They made a pact with themselves because the Greeks were coming in and attacking us on the Sabbath, and the scriptures say honor the Sabbath day and keep it holy. You go back in the history, a man was picking up sticks on the Sabbath and was killed. So during this time of the Greek Empire, Israelites were keeping the Sabbath strict, so they wouldn't do no work, no servile work, wouldn't cook nothing on the Sabbath. Mm-hmm. So the Greeks, the so-called white man, who took on Japhet's name, because that name Greek is Japhetic. The so-called white man went in there and pushed Japhet out, and they took on the name of the Greeks. They were bombarding us and raiding us on the Sabbath day because they knew we wasn't going to fight back because we didn't want to defile the Sabbath, and they were slaughtering us. Yep. And then Judas Maccabees and his father and his brothers ran up into the mountains, made a pact. When the Greeks come back, we're going to be ready for their ass. Yep. And thus begins the legend of Judas Maccabees, or Maccabath. You would say, some of you would say Macbeth, which Maccabath is hammer, because he used hammer-like tactics against the Greek. The Greeks, he was beating the shit out of them. And the angels was helping them too. There's battles where they put dirt on their foreheads, they prayed to the Lord, and the Lord sent an angel down to aid them in the battle. And the angel picked Judas up like a baby and held him. And they blinded the army, and then they slaughtered him. That's in the history. That's in the Maccabees. Yep. That's just an example right there. So Esau, during that time, they were sitting as pharaohs in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? The Edomites that were sitting under the Ptolemaic dynasty. So they were sitting as pharaohs in Egypt during the time of the Ptolemies.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. There's more on that.
And what you was reading, Isaiah?
One more verse. It says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame.
Right, the strength of Pharaoh is going to be your shame. Because you trusted in Pharaoh, the sun god Ra. All of that is all bullshit. All it was is just Egyptian fairy tales. None of the shit was real. Now Anubis, which is he has that jackal-like head or the dog head, he's supposed to be the protector of the dead. Now in the 1700s, when them archaeologists went and dug up them tombs and took all them riches out the tombs, how come Anubis ain't fucking curse him? How come Anubis ain't kill him? Because he don't motherfucking exist. That's why. Excuse my French. He don't exist. Okay? He don't exist. It's bullshit. Yep. That's what it is. Because Anubis don't exist. So how come he didn't curse them Edomite archaeologists? That stuff is still sitting in museums all throughout the United States and different parts of Europe too. Yep. In museums. So how come Anubis ain't come in and do something about it? Because Anubis don't exist. That's why. Yep. But you trusting in the strength of Pharaoh. You trusting in this Egyptian bullshit. You proclaim this Egyptian Kemetic bullshit garbage. Well, that's going to be your shame. And that's going to be your downfall. Just like it was the downfall of them Israelites that when Moses went up on the mount for 40 days and 40 nights and was getting the commandments and he came back down, Israel was what? Worshiping the golden calf, which went back to what? Egypt. Yep. They were worshiping the golden calf. Moses said, look, they that be with the Lord on this side, and basically they that is with that bullshit on that side, the Levites took out them swords and commenced to whooping ass.
That's right. Killing.
Killing.
Yeah, killing.
A lot of Israelites got killed that day.
Okay.
Israel couldn't go into the promised land because the elders that came out of Egypt were still caught up in that Egyptian bullshit. They couldn't get it out their mind. So it took 40 years for them to die off, and the children that were babies when we first came out of Egypt became grown men. Yep. We're in their 40s, 50s or whatever. And the pretty much the elders were pretty much dead except for Joshua and Caleb. So those were the only two of that old generation that led the young generation into Egypt, into Canaan, to take the land of Canaan from the Canaanites.
Yeah, I got something for you.
Yeah.
It's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 1. It says, moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea.
Right. All of our fathers were under the cloud because there was a cloud or a chariot that would lead us the way by day, and by night it would be a pillar of fire. And we were walking under that. That was our guide that was leading us, that took us through the Red Sea, or took us through the Gulf rather, and then got us on the other side and took us through the wilderness of Zin. That cloud, and that was Yahweh Shai, by the way. That was the same death angel that also came through Egypt and took the firstborn. Yep. That was Yahweh Shai that did that. So Yahweh Shai is a mass murderer. Yahweh Shai is a mass murderer. He took the firstborn of all the Egyptian, and if it was any stupid ass Israelites that didn't put the blood on the doorpost and on the lintel of the doorpost or the window, that their firstborn was gone too.
Yep.
Ahead,
and let me just say this too, because with the spirit, the brothers on it, man. You know, the hell with them damn scoffers, man. Here it is, and that's how you know that they agents. You know, we'll go sit there stalking they bullshit ass shows, and see, the thing is that proved that we got the light, man. Like we've been saying for years, man. Yeah. You know, or as the old saying, like a moth to a flame.
Right, that's right.
You know, you go outside at night and you light a fire, or you have a flashlight, you're going to have all kinds, you're going to have some bugged out looking bugs that you didn't even know exist before.
Coming to the light.
Coming to the light. I was stopped at a talk with my nephew earlier about some work or whatever the case is. Man, even he said, I seen it too. I was like, what the fuck is that? You know, we was over by Stratford area or whatever. I was like, what the fuck is that? It was like a fucking a mosquito that was black and white. Damn. Like, looked like some crazy shit. You know? But that's how, you got all type of weird bugs out there, man. Yeah. And that's these scoffers, spiritually, that's these scoffers, man.
Yeah, bug outs.
You know, these that's why we call them bug outs, man. Yeah. You know, because here it is, man. Esau, and they don't realize, once Esau's fit, when the game plan is over, they're going to snatch them over too, man.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to snatch them right out of their little fucking crackhead apartments or some of them in a crack house online, you know, it just so happen to have Wi-Fi or whatever, right? They're going to snatch them right up out of there, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Execute them, throw them in concentration camps. You know, some of us, we might end up running into them on another tip. You understand? So it's spiritual, man. That's why, you know, we know that this is the truth, because they trying so hard to knock it, to suppress it, have people keep coming up against it. Now, if you have somebody like Kendrick Lamar or whatever say that the Israelites, the whole world goes crazy, you know, man, the hell with a damn celebrity, man.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, the true celebrity is the Most High, and the Lord is going to be feared, man. You know, a lot of you jakes, and that's I see why the Lord, Yahweh Shai said, "Blessed art thou, O Father, for hiding these things from the wise and the prudent," right? And has revealed them to babes. I see why, man. Because people are so fucking phony. If you get like the top entertainer, whoever the top nigga is, right? And he was to come out and say the things that we say everything, the so-called rape doctrine that they call us, you know, even if he brought out, which is in the scriptures, everybody will believe him.
Yep.
Yahweh Shai said, if you was of the world
would hear his own.
The world would hear his own.
That's
the world would listen to you.
That's right.
Right? So that proves that we doing the right thing, brothers.
The world would love his own.
That proves we doing the right thing. You know? And the fact that you got all these people trying so hard to stop this thing, man. And the Lord, to show you the power of the Lord, this truth is on a whole nother level, man. Most of you brothers on the comment board, y'all be doing all kind of shows and set up camps and join camps, all right, and converted other brothers into this thing. This thing is serious, man. We almost out of here, man. You know? And hey, we gonna see the end of our enemies, man. You know, Lord willing, we continue and keep the faith. We gonna see the end. We gotta be patient, man. We gotta suffer whatever else there is left to suffer. All right? But I'm sorry, go ahead, brother. Okay, now I'm gonna go back in Corinthians. All right, now this is verse 2. It says, and we're all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. And Moses wasn't no goddamn cracker, man.
No.
All right? Moses wasn't no damn cracker, man. When you read in the scriptures clearly tell you Moses was a so-called dark-skinned man. All right?
Look at the Egyptians. How was he able to pass for Pharaoh's grandson and live among the Egyptians if he was a goddamn so-called white man?
That's
He
right.
wasn't no damn white man.
Right, and that's the hypocrisy amongst what you American sheeple. You'll sit there and say that, oh, well, Moses was white, the Israelites were white, but you'll say the so-called Egyptians were black.
Right.
But okay, then how was, like the elder said, how was Moses able to pass for the son of the Egyptian?
That's right.
And then when you go deep further into the scriptures in the, Numbers? In the book of Numbers, Miriam spoke against, showing you the place of a woman.
Right.
You know, because all y'all go crazy over these women and try and exalt them on a level or a pedestal.
Right, because that's that Kemetic bullshit once again.
Yep. It all goes back to that bullshit Kemetic gods, man. That's what Esau, the so-called white man's been pushing. But you had Moses' sister, his own sister, Miriam, try to get beside herself because there's an order. The Most High set the men up over the woman. Yep. So she got beside him and tried to speak against him. And what the Most High did, the Most High made her, the scriptures tell you, leprous as snow.
Turned her into a white woman. Yep. So if she was already a fucking white woman, how the hell was she turned into a leprous white woman if she was already a white woman? Doesn't make no goddamn sense. She was a black woman running her goddamn mouth like the black woman runs her mouth to this very day. And she got checked. And she had to be put aside from the camp of Israel for 7 days.
Man, who's the finest dark-skinned woman you could think of? I'm thinking of the chick from Belly that was in Bronx Style.
Yeah.
Keisha, whatever. I don't know, whatever. Think of the finest black chick. Imagine her looking like that, then going to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
You know? It was so bad that they went and begged the Most High to have mercy on their sister, man.
And then the Most High was like, look, she gonna be
put
her outside the camp. Put her outside the camp for 7 days.
Yeah.
So she had to suffer that. She had to be out there by herself for 7 days. Moses and Aaron got scared as hell when they seen their sister turned into a white woman, and then there was a miracle shown with Moses when he put his hand into his bosom. And he pulled it out, and it was white as snow.
Right.
And then when he put it back in, it was as his other flesh, which was what? Dark.
Brown. Yep. Brown skin.
That's right.
Yep. This is it real quick. Numbers 12, verse 9. And the anger of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
Right. She became leprous, meaning she wasn't leprous. She wasn't white as snow. You see? Because why? She was a so-called black woman out of the tribe of Levi.
Yep.
All right? And that's the same cloud that we're reading about in the book of Corinthians, man. Okay? And so now you got a lot of these, a big thing amongst Jake is what? A lot of them bleaching their skin. Right? They say, what's that dude, Charlemagne the God? Yeah. And I remember too, that was a black, crispy ass nigga, man.
Hell yeah.
Right? He was a crispy goon looking nigga, right? Now the nigga he got that Michael Jackson type look, man. Yeah. You know, and I guess he's gonna say he got the same thing. What's it? Vitiligo or whatever the fuck it is.
Vitiligo.
You know, but you got a lot, and then like the brother said in Jamaica, you know, they had that song, right?
I'ma bleach.
Yeah.
Bleach out them skin.
Bleach out them skin. Yep. So that's a big epidemic, and I think Beyonce, they call her using the bleach cream. All the so-called top celebrities trying to make themselves look so-called white, look like the white man. But now showing you, this is Moses, a man of the Lord, his sister, who went off, and the Most High said he made her white and leprous, white as snow. Now let's see if they were happy for her, if that was a beautiful thing. Go ahead, brother.
And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
He looked at it as a white bitch.
It's like, oh, shit.
You know? But y'all killing yourself to become white bitches, man.
Yep.
And look like, simple Sammy. Simple Sammy.
So.
You know? Because why, man? You suffer from the worst identity crisis, man. Okay? You're nothing but a bunch of fucking coons, sellouts. You hate the Heavenly Father. You're rebellious. Okay? But that's what Miriam, she was white and leprous, man. Go ahead.
And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us.
Right, he begged them. Because why? He knew to look like these white people look leprous is a sin. So lay not the sin upon us. Go ahead.
Wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned.
Right, because Aaron got simple too. He was conspiring. You know, because a woman, you got to watch these women, man. These women are sneaky. They slick, you know. Adam, right? That's why the scripture said, of the beginning came sin.
The woman became, yeah.
In the beginning of the woman became sin. It's like I ain't quoting verbatim. All right? So that show you about these women with their feminine wiles and all they gals. You gotta, man, that's why you gotta be a man in this truth, man. Now the scriptures say, he that pleases the Heavenly Father shall escape her. With all her traps and everything, if you please the Lord, you're gonna escape her, man. Okay? Go ahead.
That's the point. Verse Numbers 12 and 12. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the
right. Let it not be as one dead, man.
Yeah.
And when you look at a lot of these, that's why they got to do certain things to try to put color into their skin. That's why they go to get to tanning salons.
Yep.
They come up with new makeup, you know. They try to sit there, or they do like they just, you know what I'm about to say, like in the movies, like in Get Out.
Yeah.
They try to steal Jake's, steal their organs and everything.
Yep.
Because in that movie they showed you that these white people know that Jake is the people of the Heavenly Father.
That's right.
Basically, they knew that Jake is the Israelites. You so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Dominicans, those of Negro and Indian descent, they showed you in that movie Get Out that you're the real Israelites. Yeah. That's why they was trying to steal you and trying to regenerate through you.
That's right.
All right? They know that we got that, the melanin and the tone and the spirit that we got is a blessing from the Most High. So that's why they try to, even to this day, they still try to beat Jake. But back, because why? That's a sin to look that way.
Yeah. Yep. That's why they go, like you said, in them tanning salons, they got rub-on tan.
Yeah, rub-on tan.
Why do they want to get a golden brown tan if the way that you look as white people with transparent skin is so holy and righteous? Why do you want to get a golden brown tan?
Yeah.
Why do you go get that tan and wipe it on and now you got an instant tan on your body?
Because if not, they look like they dead. When somebody's dead, you know, they lose their color, you know? And that's how these crackers look. They're like a bunch of dead corpses, man.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It says, let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb.
Right, because a lot of babies, when they're born, don't have their color, their pigment on them yet. Yeah. When I was born, I was light-skinned as hell. My pigment came about 3-4 months later. 3-4 months later, my dark skin came in. When I was born, I was light skinned. I was high yellow as hell. And then 3-4 months later, the pigment kicked in.
Yep. That's heavy.
Yep. And Moses cried unto the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, saying, Heal her now, O Yahweh, I beseech thee. So, like you said, you begged the Lord to heal her.
You know? Yep.
Right. That's pretty much the point.
Okay. So back in verse 3, it said, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Yahushua Hamashiach.
Right, in that cloud. So the cloud that they were under, that Israel, all our fathers was under the cloud in the beginning, that cloud was Yahushua, and he was the shepherd that led us through the way, through the wilderness of Zin, and it was a pillar of fire by night and a cloud by day. That was Yahushua.
That's right.
and what we call today, we call it a UFO, or they call it a UFO, unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
Well, we know it's the chariots of Israel.
That's right.
It's mentioned of in the Book of Kings.
Mm-hmm.
It's mentioned of in Psalms.
Yep.
It's mentioned of in Acts, the 1st chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Revelation, the 1st chapter, about he cometh with clouds and every eye shall see him.
Isaiah.
The book of Isaiah.
Yep.
So on and so forth. Those clouds are what? The chariots.
That's right.
Those are the chariots of Israel. What you call UFOs. That's what they are. They've existed for a long, long time.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important for you to know who you are, because that's where our salvation is. That's how we're going to be delivered by those chariots, man.
Right.
As a matter of fact, Lord willing, I hold the pocket for Wisdom of Solomon. If you got something, you can bring that out. Wisdom of Solomon, the fifth chapter.
Amazed at the strangeness of our salvation.
You know, we got to get that too, because that goes deep too.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important to know and to proclaim who we are, the true Israelites, man. The true identity, because the Most High ain't coming back. Hey, when all hell break loose, and it's coming. You be a fool and think that America's going to continue the way it is if you want. You can be a fool and you can try to call yourself getting ahead of the curve and investing into this fucking country, going into the stock market, buying land, getting into real estate. Okay, you're going to see all that crumble right before you, man. You know?
The government is going to snatch all of that from you. They got laws on the books where they can take control of your land. They can take control of your vehicle, take your home. They take control of potting soil. They take control of seeds. They take control of all water sources, whether it's well water, whether it's the pipe water coming in your house, bottled water, under executive orders. They take control of all of that. They take control of all public and private transportation. They take your fucking cars, take your motorcycles, take your dirt bikes, take your pedal bikes. These laws is all on the books, and it was invoked by Obama while the Obama administration was in there.
Yeah.
Look up something called the National Defense Authorization Preparedness Act, the NDRP, I believe it's called.
Yep.
So yeah, that's true.
It's on the book.
And the thing is, say if Esau don't get you, the missiles are gonna get it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, say you might happen to be in some type of neutral area where you think you're safe. You know, you gonna find out you ain't safe, man.
That's right.
This is the refuge right here in the scriptures, man.
Yep.
All right, that's why the white man tries to get you away from the Bible, man. Because this is where our power lies, right here in this truth, man. And this is the resource, man. Because you know you got these clowns that claim that they're Kemetic scholars and everything. I got to go back to these clowns in the so-called conscious community, which is funny, man. All right, because they dead, man. They dead from the neck up. They're dead.
That's right.
But they try to sit there and talk about the Bible being the white man's book. How in the hell? And nobody's been able to explain this one to me. How the hell could the Bible be a white man's book when it condemns the so-called white man?
That's right.
Who would write a book that condemns themselves? Who would write that?
Nobody.
You see?
It condemns the so-called
but the scriptures tell you that our people, they love lies, man.
That's right.
They love lies. They're infatuated with lies, man. Like it says in Isaiah the 30th chapter. Prophesy smooth things
Unto us.
right?
Deceits.
Deceits. They don't want to hear the truth that, you know, look, man, America's going to be destroyed, man. Why are you wasting your time sending your kids to college and lying to them, telling them they should be trying to be the next president of the United States? First of all, to be the president of the United States is you got to be wicked as all hell.
That's right.
You got to be willing to sacrifice your soul. Okay, you got to be willing to go through all type of satanic, homosexual rituals.
That's right.
So why in the hell would you want to push your kids in that direction? Basically, you giving your kids over into Molech, man.
That's right.
You know, and a lot of you don't, and a lot of y'all gonna be ashamed and crying, but you know what? The Most High ain't gonna shed no tears for you, man. Just as you was proud enough to continue in your wickedness, the Most High gonna let you, like I said, your own wickedness is gonna correct you.
That's right.
You know. Go ahead. You got it.
What you want to Wisdom of Solomon? Or you?
Okay.
You finished Isaiah?
Oh, you read Isaiah? Who had Isaiah?
Isaiah 30.
Slack. Who's on first?
Yeah, Isaiah 30.
30. I got 30
You finished first.
Okay, yeah, cut.
You finished first Corinthians 10.
I mean, there's more First Corinthians, but you know the spirit's jumping around. So,
All right. It's Isaiah 30. 30.
hey, and that's another thing about us, man.
Yeah.
We trust in the spirit, man. We don't. I mean, you know, there's times we might put together the videos for breakdowns and everything, but we are in a time of prophecy, man. You can't never forget that we're in a time of prophecy. You know, Don't let no stupid ass nigga tell you anything different, man. All right, we in a time of prophecy. You got all kind of destruction taking place, man. This is the worst time ever, man. Things never been to the level where they're at now. Okay, we're definitely in the time of prophecy. So you better stay locked into the scriptures and watch as well as pray, man.
Yeah, we're not in the time of saving black people. We're in a time of
we're
in a time of recovering the elect.
That's it.
We ain't in the time of saving no black people. Who the fuck are black people anyway?
Yeah.
We looking for the elect of Israel, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth.
That's what the Most High is looking for.
That's right.
Hey, when the chariots, like we was talking about the chariots, the so-called UFOs, when they come back, and you sitting up there talking about you Kemetic or you black or you African, you gonna get zapped. Yeah. You know, like what was that movie? War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds.
Yeah, you gonna get zapped, man.
Yeah, you heard that ram's horn, and then the fire came after the ram's horn. That's what you gonna hear that.
Turn to dust.
And then you're gonna be vaporized like Lot's wife was.
Hey, this is a stronghold, man. You gotta remember the scriptures say, "Stand ye in awe," man. All right, you gotta to stand in the truth. You gotta stay in the truth.
That's right.
Okay, stay yourselves in wonder. All right, you gotta stay in this truth, man. All right, for us, cause we just because we've been around a little longer than other brothers or whatever the case is, that don't mean nothing. We're not exempt, man. All right, we still got to continue in the faith, just like you, brother. Just like what we telling you, brothers, it goes double for us as well, man. We got to continue to keep pushing until the end. We got to push these prophecies, man. That's what the prophets did. What we doing is what the prophets did, man.
That's right.
The scriptures tell you they spoke and prophesied against kingdoms.
Yep.
You know, kings, countries.
That's right.
All right, and that's what we're doing, man. We're prophesying against this wicked ass kingdom in America, man. And we're prophesying that the Lord is going to destroy it, man.
Yeah.
Slack it, brother. Yeah.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 9 says that this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua.
That's how we know that you're Israel. You're lying children. Yeah. You're a bunch of liars. Yep. You're rebellious as hell, and you won't hear the law of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You don't like the law of the Lord. We tell you, look, you're not supposed to wear a bald head. What you do? Get a bald head.
Yep.
No tattoos.
No tattoos. What you do? You tat your whole body up.
Yep.
Don't eat pork. What you do is you bathe in it.
It's true, man. And the thing is, a lot of you Jakes, you try to justify yourself, man.
Yep.
You know, but the Most High is not going to justify you. You had which there is speculation about. You had this rapper that just died, Prodigy.
Right.
They said he choked on an egg in a hospital or whatever after he got treated for his sickle cell. But you know what though? You got everybody praising him as if he's a proper. First of all, he was misleading a lot of you niggas anyway, man.
That's right. Yeah.
First of all, he was the one that he was working with the elites. See, you can't. See, you know what happens? A lot of times, some people, would you give them some type of credit, a little, like the DMXs, the Cat Williams? Yeah. They start seeing they join this fraternity, whether they knowingly or unknowingly. But then after they get into the business, they look at all the wickedness they do, and then they grow a conscience.
Right.
Then they start, or the Most High might visit them and come at them, or then they try to like renege on the deal. You can't renege on, when you make a deal with the devil, you can't renege on it with him, man.
That's right.
Or else he's gonna come at you. He was trying to expose the Illuminati or whatever the case is, and come out with it, and he was bringing in some fat, but a lot of stuff was shit everybody knew already. Yeah. But he was another one of them that glorified the wearing all kinds of tattoos, tatting your whole body up. Okay, and then a lot of Negroes, West Indians, and Puerto Ricans, by watching these celebrities and entertainers, they idolize it and they try to mimic that look.
Yeah, emulate it.
Emulate it, man. Why? So that's why now you see and that's disgusting, man. You see every nigga on the planet got this covered up with fucking tattoos. Yeah. Now they going to the point they ran out of room on their body. They tattooing their face, tattooing their head. Yeah. So that's why the Most High, which I'm gonna get back to it. The Lord called our people a bunch of degenerates, man. Here it is, we was a noble, royal, righteous seed that turned into this bunch of degenerates, man.
Precept for you.
Go ahead, you got it.
Isaiah 28 and it says, I'm gonna start at 14. Wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men, that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death.
That's the spirit, because I was thinking of that scripture. And that's what most of these jakes do. You know? I'm gonna sell drugs till I die. I'm gonna get high till I die. Right? That's what a lot of you niggas say. Yeah, I hear that. I'm gonna smoke until I die. You know? I ain't trying to look, man, I'm good. I ain't gotta change my life, man. I ain't gotta change my ways. I'm in control, right? That's what they say. The Lord said you made a covenant with death, right? As if you had the power over life and death. Right?
We have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through it, shall not come unto us. So you think because you made this deal with the Illuminati and the elites that you're going to be untouched. Look, they going to swoop your ass up with everybody else because they don't give two fucks about you. They're just using you to advance their agenda.
If they don't sacrifice you.
Right.
Which they might have killed. You know, it sound fishy as hell. I believe they probably killed the nigga. You know, they killed a lot of niggas. Okay, they killed a lot of officials, a lot of sports players. There's a thing called blood. Of course all that shit is true, man. You know? They've been doing it. Who you think is ruling? The devil is in power, man. America is under the vibration of Satan, man. That's why the scriptures tell you to walk ye circumspectly, man. Everything outside of this truth is basically of the devil, man. It's Satan. You gotta, you know, one form or another, man. You know? Go ahead.
It says, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves.
You still got niggas up there talking about Islam. Islam ain't got nothing to do with you niggas, man.
Not a goddamn thing.
All right? But y'all done made that your refuge. I'm a Muslim till I die. And guess what? You are going to die. And then the thing is, you're going to realize that we was telling you the truth. You don't realize that you was an Israelite, man.
Yeah, you made Islam a refuge when you fucking went to prison to protect your asshole
from Big Al.
Reamed out by Gorgeous George or Big Al or whatever them fucking niggas call themselves in prison. Them life of them niggas that got so many muscles on them and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's all they do is lift all day. So they wait for you young boys to come in and then they tear your ass out. You know what I'm saying? They go into that sun god Ra in your ass.
It's crazy, man. And Islam is the #1 jailhouse religion.
That's all it is.
I mean, you got the Roman Catholics, but the people that are Roman Catholics were Roman Catholics before they went into jail.
That's right.
All right? But the niggas...
But wait a minute, but the Muslims are your Roman Catholics anyway. All right, because the Roman Catholic Church set up Islam.
That's right.
The Roman Catholic Church was controlled. It was Israelites that set up the Roman Catholic Church. And it was used as a tact to get back control of Jerusalem, but it backfired on it.
And that's well known, documented. And that's the thing. That's why he said you made lies. Read that last verse again.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it again. Isaiah 28, and I'm gonna just start at 15.
Yeah, read that, because that's these just what we talking about.
Exactly. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood we have hid ourselves.
Under falsehood, and that's the majority of Jake. No matter, you can bring the proof out, right? You bring out the proof, and they still don't want to hear it, man. They still gonna hold on to because once you bring the proof out to a nigga, they just short circuit. Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum.
Salami and bacon, nigga.
You know? Once you go deep and go into the origins, because they don't know the origins of Islam. I'm an Islam, one who submits himself to the will of. Get the fuck out of here, man.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit. That's not what the word Islam don't mean anyway. And it comes from the Hebrew. All right, the Arabic is a variation of the Hebrew mixed with
all
Greek.
It is corrupted Hebrew.
Basically,
Islam is Ya Shalom. He is of peace. Muslim, Ma Shalom. Ma is from.
Of or from peace.
That's what it means. It don't mean one who humbly submits to the will of Allah, you dumb fucks. It's not what it means.
And the thing is, but Jake is going to die like that. There's going to be a lot. That's why the scriptures say.
You got to die. Especially the niggas in Philly. All of them niggas are going to die, man.
Unless you of the elect.
They straight up Aki.
Unless you of the elect.
Jersey too. Jersey, Philly is full of them niggas, man.
Yeah, and you know, unless you of the elect, then you better wake up out of that nonsense, man. First of all, and then most of them niggas that claim, and that's why they like I said, they made falsehood their refuge because they can keep doing the wickedness, that they can keep selling drugs and feel righteous. They can say, well, I'm off my deen, but I'll be back on my deen or whatever. You know, they can continue being an adulterate, right? But say assalamu alaikum. They can continue in their wickedness, but then go to the mosque, you know, and do some surahs and everything, and be back to being righteous. They can sit there, and, smoke some weed or crack. You know, I knew this one. As a matter of fact, it's this one dude. He do all kind of videos on the fucking YouTube, man. He's like he got a big following. The nigga was a big fucking crackhead back in the early '90s, man. And I know that for a fucking fact, man. You know, but now he's out. People don't even fucking know he's out there deceiving people, giving speeches and shit, man. You see? Because why? They made that thing their stronghold. And most times you break it down to them, even after you break, and they can't, rebuttal it or nothing. But they gonna go, well, to each his own. You know what? We respect. How they say respectfully. How they say?
We agree to disagree.
We agree to disagree.
We disagree and all that bullshit.
So hey, there you have it, man.
Agree to disagree.
There you have it, man. I mean, I got a Muslim my uncle that's been a Muslim.
Oh yeah.
Before I was born, some of you brothers met him, right? I mean, he's a cool guy, whatever, you know. But if he don't get out of that damn Islam, he gonna get put to death, man.
That's right.
The Most High, I already done told him what it was, man. And I ain't wasting. The scriptures say, "Cast not thy pearls before swine." Right. I'm not gonna keep wasting my time trying to sit there and teach somebody, man. Those days are over. If you don't want the truth, then you don't need it. You don't gotta get the truth. Maybe the truth just ain't for you.
No, it ain't. It's just ain't for you. You know, and it's right in front of your face with that Islam shit. Because number one, what the fuck does Mary got to do with Muhammad? Why is there a book in the Quran called the Book of Maryam? The 19th surah, the Book of Maryam. That's the Arabic way of saying Mary. The Bible doesn't praise Mary. The Bible just says that Mary, she was the mother of Yahweh Shai. That's right. Okay? She was the mother of Yahweh Shai. His father Joseph was from the royal line of Judah, the line of Solomon and King David, going back to the fourth born son Judah, from the royal line of Judah. All right? And Mary was his mother. That's it. You don't praise Mary. You don't pray to Mary for shit. But in the Quran, in the Surah, I wish I had it with me, but it's the Book of Maryam, chapter 19, and it speaks about in there about she will bring forth a pure boy, knowing that she had not been with a man, which is all bullshit, because Joseph had sex with Mary, and he got her pregnant. He is from what? The seed of David. Okay, the Lord didn't take on the nature of angels, but the seed of David. He came through the flesh, just like we came through the flesh.
Right.
It says it in what is that? Is that I'm trying to think. Is that the 4th chapter of Galatians? When the fullness of time has come, God sent forth his son, made of a woman, meaning you in a woman's stomach, you grow in her womb, you feed in her womb, made under the law. Okay, so how did that happen? Sperm had to go into her womb. Sperm had to go into the womb and crack the egg and sit in there and feed. For him to be made of a woman, made under the law. Yep. Meaning he came through the cycle of life just like all of us go through the cycle of life. A man ejaculates into a woman. And the baby grows, and then the baby comes out. All right? So come off that bullshit, man.
Hey, well that's why too that I see why the Most High jacked that other demon up too. Nick Cannon, he did a skit. Stepdads or something like that. Yeah. And he's basically speaking about, saying Joseph was a stepfather.
Joseph wasn't no stepfather.
Yeah. So that's why the Most High fucked him up, man.
Yeah, well, that's good for that.
Yeah. Man. And he was all in the hospital about to die.
Yeah, that's
the
good.
The Lord torturing him, man. The Most High, see, the Lord get these motherfuckers, man. Yep. You know, they do all that talk, all these. That's why the scriptures say your tongue have the power of life and death, man. You got to watch what you say, because in Matthew 7:21, it says every idle word man should give account for. All right.
The 19th verse, I believe. 19 and 19.
But I'm not sure if this was the one that you want. But I'll read this. This is Galatians 4.
Yeah, I think that's when I was talking about Galatians.
All right, I'll read this one. Galatians 4:1. It says, now I say, well, I'll jump right to I'll read on. It says, now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differeth nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all, but is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. Even so we, when we were children, were in bondage under the elements of the world. But when the fullness of time was come, the Most High sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law.
Right. Made of a woman, made under the law. Like the scriptures say. So when it said he was made of a woman, he was in a woman's womb for the time of 9 months. He was put in there by his father because Joseph and Mary had sex. That's the only way a woman can get pregnant is by them having sex.
Right, and that's why she was unclean.
Right.
She had to go through
the purification
yeah.
after the Lord was born. So she had to go through that purification. So it wasn't immaculate. Immaculate means clean. It wasn't immaculate. It wasn't no immaculate conception. The immaculate conception goes back to the birth of Nimrod. No, it goes back to the birth of Tammuz, who was Nimrod's brother. Nimrod having a sexual incestual relationship with his mother Semiramis. This goes back to ancient Babylon, which was before ancient Egypt, because the Egyptians got all their belief systems from the ancient Babylonians, their brothers.
Yep.
Which was the Cushites. Mizraim got their beliefs from Cush. It all started in ancient Babylon, is where it started from. It all goes back to ancient Babylon. Not no fucking Egypt. Ancient Babylon. Get it right. The Immaculate Conception, then it went through the Egyptian, with Isis, Horus, and Seth, I believe. Okay, she got pregnant, but she was impregnated, and then she had Horus or whatever, that bullshit, all that bullshit. It goes back to ancient Babylon, the first Babylon. Not talking about the one with Nebuchadnezzar, talking about going back to Nimrod, Genesis the 10th chapter. That's what it goes back to. But now the Immaculate Conception, which the Roman Catholic Church teaches that, Islam teaches that. The Bible don't teach no Immaculate Conception.
Yeah.
The Immaculate Conception was used as a way to describe Matthew's the first chapter by son worshiping, Queen of Heaven worshiping as nigger named Constantine the Great in 324 AD with the Council of Nicaea. Okay, the Council of Nicaea was convened to basically look, was the Lord divine or not? And if he was divine, then his mother had to be impregnated in an immaculate way. Basically, an angel got his mother pregnant. That's what came out of the Council of Nicaea in 324 AD.
And that was wicked niggas pushing that too, because a lot of them they knew that that was off, but they was forcing people to push that as doctrine.
Yep.
You know.
And I got it right here. This is the Quran Surah 19, the Book of Maryam, 19 and 19. Now listen to this bullshit. It says, he said, I am only a messenger of your Lord, that I will give you a pure boy. She said, when shall I have a boy, and no mortal man has yet touched me, nor have I been unchaste, meaning had sex with a man. He said, even so, your Lord says, it is easy to me, and that we may make him a sign to men and a mercy from us, and it is a matter which has been decreed. It says, so she conceived him, then withdrew herself with him to a remote place. So that's talking about what? The Immaculate Conception. That's talking about the birth of the Lord Yahweh Shai. Right. Which, by the way, in the Quran they call him Isa. His name is Yahweh Shai, not Isa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the verse right there in the Quran right there. That's Roman Catholic. This is a Roman Catholic dogma theology, Council of Nicaea, 324 AD dogma. That's what this is. So what is Islam? One of the babies of the Roman Catholic Church.
Yep.
Okay, you got the beads. Those beads, the same rosary beads the Roman Catholic Church has. Islam has them. They call it the 99 attributes of Allah.
Yeah.
Mercy, this and all that bullshit. Yep. It's motherfucking Roman Catholic rosary beads. Is what it is.
Same shit.
It's the same shit.
And again, what the hell is a Book of Maryam doing in the Quran?
Exactly. What the hell does that have to do?
You know?
Right.
What does the Book of Maryam have to do with Muhammad? What does it have to do with him? When you go back into the history of that Islam shit, before Islam came on the scene, Israelites was living in Mecca and in Yemen, okay, and in Arabia before Muhammad came on the motherfucking scene.
That's right.
600 some odd years before this camel jockey henna in his beard, wearing faggot, came on the scene.
Yeah.
Israel was living in Mecca, and it wasn't called Mecca back then either. It wasn't called Mecca. All right? Israel was living in Yemen. Israel was in Yemen. This was during the time of the Apostle Paul, the book of Acts. Israel was in Yemen. Israel was in Arabia. As a matter of fact, somebody give me, I think it's Galatians, is it 1 and 17, I believe? I think it's Galatians 1 and 17. Israel was living in Saudi Arabia. But this before Muhammad came on the scene. Muhammad came on the scene 600 AD.
Yeah.
We talking about the time of the Apostle Paul. If a brother got the red Bible, they give you the date up there. It's probably going to say, something like 38, 39 AD. Around there in Galatians or the book of Acts. I got the red Bible. I think if you could find it. Yeah. But if you got
I got the scripture.
Yeah, if you could read it for me. Tell me what it says.
Yeah. Yep, this is Galatians chapter 1 verse 17. It says, "Neither went I up to Jerusalem to them which were apostles before me."
Right, so this is Paul said, look, he said, I didn't go up to Jerusalem to the apostles which were before me, because the Lord came, Yahweh Shai came to him on the road to Damascus while he was on a horse going to persecute the disciples and blinded them for 3 days.
That's right.
Then he got his sight back and he just went right out there and started teaching. He didn't have to go before Peter and them and be anointed and then go. He just went right out there after he got the word from the horse's mouth.
From Yahweh Shai himself. And
then he went right out there. He just went right out into it. So he said here, and the brother's reading Galatians. Call it, brother. And read it.
Yep, Galatians 1 and 17. It says, "Neither went I up to Jerusalem to them which were apostles before me, but I went into Arabia."
Where did he go, brother?
Arabia.
Why did he go into Arabia?
That's right. Jake did.
Israelites.
Yeah. And this is before motherfucking Muhammad. What's the date you found in there, Abad? Motherfucker asking for the date, nigga. We're gonna give you the date.
AD 58.
That's right.
AD 58 AD. Galatians.
Yeah, 600, almost 600 years before fucking Muhammad.
Yeah, 500 and somebody years before he comes on the scene.
Yep.
So Israel was in Arabia. Not only was Israel in Arabia, they was in Yemen. Not only was they in Arabia and was they in Yemen, Israel was also in Mecca, but it wasn't called Mecca back then. It went by its ancient name before it was called Mecca. Israel was in there.
See, man, it's a lot.
And if you go do some research, you'll find out what the name of it is. But you know what? I'm not inclined to tell you what the name of it is. Go do some research.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Like being an Israelite, knowing who you are is very important, man. This is important history, man. You know, and that's where you get the explanation of why things are as they are. You know, where did Islam came about and why did it come about, and how come so-called black people are so entrenched with it.
Right.
You know, you got niggas that are entrenched with being a Muslim. Because why? It was niggas that set it up to begin with.
Right. It was
so-called niggas,
Israelites, man. Sun worshiping, Queen of Heaven worshiping as Israelites that set it up in the first place. Israel on the low was always worshiping the Queen of Heaven.
Yeah.
So they just locked right. They got locked in with it.
Yeah.
Because they was always doing it on the low. Wait a minute, Ezekiel 8:14. Lord, what is it? You see what the ancients do. They are faced the east doing what? Praising the sun. Women were weeping for Tammuz. They were worshiping Tammuz.
That's right.
Which is what? Goes back into the Queen of Heaven. So that thing kept coming up, it kept coming back and kept coming back up. And them Israelites was doing it on the low.
Yep.
Because what happened during the time of Jeroboam and Rehoboam? How did he get Israel to go off? What he did? Built two golden calves. So Israel on the low was worshiping the golden calf. Even during the time of King David and King Solomon and after. They were doing it on the low. I believe it was Jeroboam brought it out to the forefront. Two calves. See, I mean, someone one up.
Yeah, he doubled up.
I'm going to double it up. I'm going to double your pleasure.
That's right.
He doubled down on it. Two calves. Yep. Come on, man. So that Queen of Heaven demon kept been coming up for years. So when it came back up again at the Council of Nicaea, then maybe about another 300 years later, it comes back up again with Muhammad.
And I got something else too. I got another scripture showing you that Jake was in Arabia. All right, this is Acts chapter 2.
Yep, Acts 2. Yep, that was the next one.
2. Yep. I'll read 5. I'm going to jump around. It says, and they were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men. Not no other nation could be considered devout. Because devout meaning what? Keeping the commandments. The law, statutes, and commandments. Psalms 147 told you that the law, statutes, and commandments were only given to who? The children of Israel. All right? It says, out of every nation under heaven, meaning what? Out of all these other different countries, man, where Israel was scattered. It said, now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our tongue wherein we were born? All right? And then it goes into the different towns, right? Which I'll read through them. It says the Parthians, Medes. So you had Israelites that was over there.
That's right.
In the land of Medes, even still to this day.
Still to this day, in the land of Medes.
And Elamites, even amongst the Elamites, which you believe like a lot of them Punjabis. There's a lot of them, some of them, you know, Elamites that they got the spirit of Jake on them.
That's right.
You know? So Jake is out there amongst them too. And the dwellers of Mesopotamia, right? And in Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Phrygia, Pamphylia, and Egypt. So you had Israelites as well as in Egypt still. And in the parts of Libya, right? What's that? North Africa? About Cyrene. And strangers of Rome.
Strangers of Rome.
So who are the strangers of Rome? That's not the actual Romans, the Edomites. People hear Romans and they, you know, they go, oh, that must be a white man. That got to be a cracker. No, motherfucker. You didn't have just crackers in Rome. Right. That's just like saying you only got white people in America. Yeah. You got America, you got all kind of nations, man.
Yeah, if you know anything about Rome, Rome was made up of all different nations, you know, underneath the Roman Empire, man.
That's right. So that's why I said the strangers of Rome, which is specified. Not all the Romans, the strangers of Rome. Which were who? The Israelites that were scattered in Rome.
That's right.
That's who Paul and the rest of the disciples and apostles is writing to. Yep. Okay? And strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians.
There you go.
All right? They ain't talking about no goddamn Ishmaelite or the damn niggas selling camel meat out there on them carts.
Right. That's right.
Those are talking about Israelites that was scattered into those areas.
That was living in them areas.
And the word, what does the word Arabian mean? It comes from Arab, right? What does the word really mean anyway?
Yeah, right.
You act like that means Muslim.
Don't mean Muslim.
The word Arab don't mean Muslim, man.
Nope.
All right? It simply means Arab.
Mixed.
Mixed.
Because you got Midian, you got Ishmael, Midian, and the other sons that Abraham had with Keturah.
Yeah.
So instead of saying Ishmael, Midian, and the other 6 names, you just say, look, Arabs. They're all Arabs. Arab.
The mix.
The 2 dominant is Ishmael and Midian. So instead of just saying, instead of saying Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Issachar, you're all Judeans. You're Jews.
They lumped us all together. Yep.
That's right. Brothers, you got something else? What?
No, I was looking for something, but I you know.
All right, well,
found nothing else.
Guess we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. You know, just a quick sit down, man. You know, pushing who we are, the Israelites, and the Spirit brought it out. The difference between us and these other nations, man. We're not to be calling ourselves Muslims.
That's right.
All right, we're not to be. That's sin. You going off, man.
We ain't no goddamn Muslims.
You know, you making the most side mad when you call yourself these false identities, man. It's time to come back to your true identity, man. You know, and act like an Israelite. That's why the Spirit been out again. I'm gonna keep echoing it right now for brothers that's doing lessons and sit downs. Put on your garments, man, as much as you can. I mean, of course, don't be an idiot. Don't go to your job wearing
don't be
garments. You know, don't go order a t-shirt with fringes from Nate or nothing like that, and go to sleeping and shit. Nah, I'm just saying. You know, when you're doing your videos, whatever you're doing, sit downs, put your garments on. If you're at the park or whatever, put your garments on. You know? A camp, you're supposed to have your garment on. You know that already. Yeah. You know? Get more into when the script. We read the scripture earlier. I don't know if you finished it, but it said, put on our beautiful garments, man.
That's right.
You know? Which we got sackcloth, but love the hell out of these garments. As far, you know, shit is better than than what we was wearing back in the world, man. You know? Because why? This represents something. The fringes, the border of blue.
Represent the law.
All right? And it represents the ancient apparel that our forefathers wore, man.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
The ribbon of blue.
But you know, in the kingdom, we really gonna have the banging ass garments, man.
That's right. Right. Straight up linen.
Gold.
Linen, silk,
pure linen, pure
pure
cotton,
jewels in it.
some material that ain't even ever been heard of in its life, you know? It's material that you wear to give you spirit, make you feel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gonna have to
breathable.
Breathable, man.
It ain't gonna be no 25% acrylic and rayon and all that other shit and cotton mix because you're not supposed to wear a garment. We going off with the clothes that we wear anyway because our clothes is 50% cotton, it's acrylic and it's rayon, all mingled. Our garment with, mingled with different fibers. It's supposed to be either all wool, all cotton, or all linen.
You got the white man to thank for that, man. The damn devil.
Yeah.
You know, that's his doing. You know?
That's right.
That's his doing. But, hey, we're going to say all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And hopefully brothers was edified. And then, any sisters.
Yeah. There's going to be sisters in the kingdom, So.
It's going to be women. See, that's another thing. They get it all confused and everything. And they try to, we far from faggots or homosexuals. We just believe in the orders that the Most High said. Like there was a woman that came to the main camp this week, and I said she proved our point. The apostle told her, look, this ain't for you. Go, cause she was asking silly, stupid questions, and she figured because she went to college and she was using, how these black women they come with the big words
what they white daddy taught them,
and not even just using the words, but talking like a damn cracker,
right?
Trying to sound so sophisticated,
right? You got educated in the system,
and she was saying stupid shit. And
she learned in school.
Or whatever. But the point is that here it is. We broke everything down to her, and she still turned it when the apostle asked her the question again after we told her who she was. She still said she was African American. So that proved that she didn't get it.
Right.
So we told her that, but she, whatever. That's another story, man. You know what I'm saying? She basically needed she's one of them women that can't find nobody to listen to it. Just like, you got some women that just like to fucking talk.
Man. Exactly, which that's all of them. They just like to run the game.
But some more than others, man. Some just, just want to just talk, But anyway, in the kingdom, we put things in this perspective, man. When it comes time to do this work, okay, the Lord chose men to do this work. Right. But of course, there's going to be women in the kingdom, man. We ain't no faggots, man.
How the hell we going to bring the rest of Israel?
Brothers got women now, man. Right. Yeah. Brothers deal with women and deal accordingly, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Women have left us because we chose this. We put this before them. And they didn't want to deal with playing second place to the book. Right. So they, went and.
Well, guess what, man? I got news for you.
Jumping up and down on somebody else.
I got news for you, Taz. They did that to the disciples and the apostles, man.
Yeah.
In Matthew 19 and 27 tells you that, man. That's why they said, which you receive. Because they lost families, women, household, whatever, Look, man, and that's, you got to have that tunnel vision of this truth, man. Yahushua said, let your eye be single, man. All right? And in the kingdom of heaven, these women, they ain't going to be out of order. Right now, they out of order, man. They don't respect us because we ain't in power. Because Esau's in power.
They only respect power.
Esau, they could call 911. Esau could come haul you off the jail. You see, but in our kingdom, when the Most High set things back in its proper order, we ain't gonna have to worry about that, man. So that's why, look, man, I mean, hey, if there's women that's able to understand it or whatever, so be it, man. Like the brother Malcolm would say, hey, good luck to you on that one, man. Hey, stay in your position, play your part while the Spirit got it set up. All right? Because there's going to be women that's going to make it. Brothers, we dealing with, if the woman that's dealing with men of the Lord, and actually, really a commandment for these women, are supposed to get with the men of the Lord. You're supposed to find the men of the Lord and get with them because that's how you're going to be saved, as the scriptures say, in childbearing. Right? So really, it would behoove you if you had any sense,
Not bearing the children of simple ass niggas. Bearing the children of the men of the Lord. Because those simple ass niggas and they simple ass kids is going to die.
That's right. Yeah, but women going, brothers got a woman that's with them or whatever. You make it, she going to make it. You her meal ticket. Not the other way around. Not the other way around. Right. So you ain't got to worry about that, man. You got to worry about this truth, man. Stay focused on this truth, man.
Well, I will say this on that. the scriptures do say that the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, because you might have a woman who believes, and she might be able to convince her man to.
Well, but the bottom line is she gonna get saved by a man.
Right. Exactly.
That's the bottom line. You gonna get saved by a man.
Exactly.
All right. Ain't no way you gonna sit there and think, oh, cause you got a lot of these women.
Oh yeah, they'll run with that.
You got a lot of these women that think they can go directly to the Most High.
Nah, you can't.
Work out their own salvation.
There's a middleman.
They gonna
You got to go to Yahweh Shai, and you got to come through us.
That's right.
Yeah,
you can't go to Yahweh Shai.
Yeah.
You got to come through us, and if you don't come through us, that's your ass.
Yeah.
And if we don't go through Yahweh Shai, that's our ass.
Yeah, so that's the bottom line on that, man.
Yep.
Without going too deep into it, man. But hey, man, Lord willing, we'll see y'all at the next show.
Shalom.
All right, shalom.
Y'all shalom.
Y'all shalom.